insecure, a little unconfident, cause you don't understand to do what I can, but some a little bit insecure, a little unconfident, cause you don't understand to do
STPL, and I'm solo casting today, as you can see. No, unfortunately, no. I'm trying to think of the right word. No rapper today. How the heck did I forget his name? My brain is turning to jelly because of this this heat wave we're getting in the UK. It's just way too much. But it could be worse. We are here for some StarCraft, so that is certainly going to cool me down, at least for the time being. It's going to be a little bit warm when I get through the cast, but we'll see how it goes. Shouldn't be too bad today. Didn't have the best day at work, but it's all good now because we're here, and it's STPL time. So I'm just quickly. Well, you know what? I don't need to say that. So we have one. We actually have one series today. There is 2 replays in the other series, but they were only just sent to me, so I'm not ready really to cast them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add those on to the next cast, which will be on Friday. There was actually a lot of walkovers in that set, so I need to find out exactly who won what game, just so I get everything the right way round even, and make sure everything's fine, because we don't want to get the stats wrong, especially when there is so much money on the line. We are currently, let me just double check the prize pool. You may see me turning to my left a little bit, that's where my other screen is, so I just moved that over to bring up the prize pool. It's actually $1,091 so far, so that's going to be kind of crazy when that actually gets to the end of the tournament. But we've got a cool series coming up for you here. I'm going to introduce the teams in just a moment.
I like your style, friend.
Thank you very much for the sub, unoriginal username. That does mean a lot. I'm just quickly, I've loaded up the first replay already, so I'm really organized today. It's great. But let's actually move on to the ranking table, just to have a quick look at how the scores are looking so far. I've got the player ranking table as well, but that seems to be a little bit broken at the moment, so I'm not going to show that. But let's move on to the ranking table. Let's see how the teams are doing, and let's see what we're looking like going in to week 2. Okay, so this is day 2 of week 2, so we did have a couple of series on yesterday even, so on Tuesday, that did cement Naz for the time being. They're the only team that has actually played 2 series, other than SciStorm.eu, who are actually 0-2 at the moment. So Naz taking a 2-0 lead at the current time. 9th team doing pretty well as well. They're 4-0 after their first game. DM, White Clan, and Seoul all once again tied on 3 wins, 1 loss. And then you have NetWars. Wait. Ah, yeah, NetWars played against Seoul. They have 1 win, 1 loss. They're 5-3, and they are getting ready to move into week. Well, they've had their week 2 game, but Seoul did have a bye week 1, which is why the stats are a little bit skew with. But yeah, that's the ranking table as we're looking at it. Media, Bull, IRK, Clan Revolution, and SciStorm yet to make an impact on the table. But DM are going to be facing off against the player or the team they are currently ranked even with in Group A, to move in to week 3 with an advantage at the top of Group A there. So they're going to be looking to take that if they can. And I've just kind of given away who is going to be playing, but let's have a look at the matchup screen. It's going to be White Clan versus DM. Now both of them are dead even on heat in round 2 so far. 3 wins, 1 loss in games. 1 wins, 1 loss matches. You can see that in the last round, White Clan, who were the eventual playoff winners, did go 8 wins, 1 loss. Their 1 loss was to IRK back in round 1, and they were the people they beat again in the playoff finals. There was a long path for IRK back up there, but they made it back. They made it to the playoff finals, didn't quite hit the mark. They're obviously going to be looking to do a similar feat, hopefully winning round 2 if they can, and their next game should be, I think it's on Friday, is going to be the next one. But Red versus DM will be on Friday as well. Media did have, let me actually double check. I posted all the week 2 games in the thread, so if you want to actually have a look at anything regarding the brackets or any of the info or anything, it is all in the Team Liquid thread. It's on the top of the tournament page at the moment, but the remaining games for this week will be Bull versus Red, which will be on Friday, Ash versus Team 9, which is going to be on Friday, and IRK versus Rev as well. So that'll all be on Friday. Shouldn't take too well. I never know how long it's going to take to cast, but if it's on Friday, I'm a lot better to go a lot later if I need to be, so it's all good. But with White Clan versus DM here, that's going to give us a fairly interesting matchup. Let's actually have a look at the maps that they're going to be playing on. Apparently, I need to quickly fix that, so let me just hide that for just 1 second. Yeah, I've put Transistor there instead of Triathlon. Very, very quick to fix. There we go. Okay, so for set 1, we are going to be moving on to Return of the King. Flight Dreamliner will be our set 2 map. That's a 2-player map, don't see that as often. Set 3 will be on Troy. Set 4 on Triathlon, and if we do make it to the Ace match, we will be seeing New Sniper Ridge, so that should be pretty fun. Let's have a quick look at the matches we'll be seeing today. It's going to be GyRo versus PRL on Return of the King, Bai versus Defiler, Sapporo versus Zenosky, and Ghost versus Tech. We've got a good amount of matchups today. We've got a TVP, a TVZ, a PvP, and a ZBZ. Now, we've had some pretty excellent TVZs in the STPL so far, including PvPs as well, so I'm kind of excited for that. But seeing a TVP and a TVZ certainly gonna suit me well, as... oh, someone just pointed out I haven't actually linked my stream to the event. He did it for me yesterday, but I'll quickly do it. Oh, someone already did it for me. Thank you, man. Thank you, Pino. But yeah, I need to make sure I get that for the next time. I always completely forget about that. Either way, let's move on to introduce the players of our first set. Okay, so as we move on to our first game of today, we are going to be having for White Clan. It's going to be their captain. It's GyRo, the Terran player. Now, he's only had 1 appearance in the STPL so far. He played in week 1 on Hitchhiker against Psystorm, I think they played. He played against Headmaster. Headmaster is on Psy, I'm fairly certain. But either way, he did lose that match. It was a crazy, crazy TVP. And if you have time, I'd go back and watch that if you can. All the VODs are in the thread on Team Liquid, as well as on my YouTube channel. If you do want to check those out, that's perfectly fine by me. And I'm very sorry, Marvin. I did try and turn down the... I tried to turn down all the settings, actually. But basically, if you do want to check out the games, please do check out the VODs afterwards. I do apologize, I don't have the quality options. I went down as far as I could quality-wise without it looking really weird, so that's why that's still a problem. But for DM, we are going to have PRL. Now, PRL has had a couple of appearances. He did join DM at the end of round 1. He's actually had 1 game this round in which he did win. And he's got 3 games. And then last round he actually had 2 games, 1 win, 1 loss. So kind of complete polar opposites here. We have a 100% win rate versus 0%. And both of them are going to be looking to get the win here. PRL keeping up his win streak, and GyRo putting his name on the board, putting in a good game for White as well. He's going to be looking to do that. And that's gonna be important for him. He does want to put in a good showing. There's a lot of good players in white. GyRo himself, a very good player, but less. I mean, he spends so much time organizing White Clan that I'm surprised he has any time to actually play the game. So the amount he plays is very, very good. He's one of the better captains in the STPL. He thinks about a lot of games, same with Fujikura for Seoul, and I know a lot of other captains as well, very, very good, so I'm not going to say anything bad about any of them, as I know, especially as round 1 went on, the captaincy at the teams really started to get like heated and everything. But just to move on to the map that we're going to see in Game 1, I can always talk about that a little bit later. We're going to have Return of the King. Now, if you haven't seen Return of the King yet, thank you,
I like
Hidebu.
your style, friend.
That means a hell of a lot. 11 months, I can't believe it. But Return of the King, 2008 map from the Incruit 2008 OSL. One of the first maps I ever saw in Brood War, and one of the ones I love the absolute most. Crazy game between Fancy and Stalk on this one. Day 9 recently actually did a video analysing that game for one of his new Day 9 dailies, so I'd go back and watch that if I were you. A really cool game so far on this in the STPL as well, and the Clash for Char, so looking forward to see how GyRo is going to do against PRL as we move on to our first game of this evening. And starting us off here in the 2 o'clock position, we do have the blue Terran fighting his way for white. It's the captain himself, leader of the ship. It is GyRo in the blue. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom left-hand position on the screen. We do have the Peach Protoss. It's going to be fighting for DM. It's PRL. Now, I'm going to say PRL because I'm not sure if it's Pearl, and saying Pearl is really weird. So PRL's a little bit easier to say, rolls off the tongue a bit better. But just while we have a little bit of lull at the start of the game, I just kind of want to point out how serious the captaincy actually got throughout round 1. I think a lot of people, when I set up this league, were kind of thinking the captains would just send out lineups. But I know, especially in some cases, I'm not going to give out any names. We had people studying the other team's players. They were studying the way they were sending out players as well, and they were doing their best to actually snipe certain players with their own ones. We had a lot of sort of internal team chats as well between the team. Well, not between the teams, but inside the teams, trying to get better as well, Oh, it's not PRI, I think it's an L. And, I mean, DM White's here, he just proved you all. So it's PRL. If it was PRI, it'd be a little bit easier, it'd be pre, but I'm glad I saw that it was an L. We do have GyRo going for a wall. This is something you can do on this map. Now, the only issue with the wall that GyRo is actually doing is if you were to build the depot right there, he's probably going to have to build it a diagonal. If you build it right there, it makes it very awkward to get your units out. Meanwhile, back in PRL's base, we do have the gateway and the assimilator. The core will be coming up as well. The fairly standard play by him. Now, GyRo has added his gas on, so he's not going to be going for that 1 rack expand. A little bit harder to do it on this map. This is a 2008 map, and until Byzantium 2, that was in 2009, 1 rack FE wasn't really something that Terrans did. Like, it was... I think it was thought about, but in pro games, no one really ever tried to pull it off, and it wasn't until people like Up Magic, I'm trying to think of the other Terrans that were known for 1 rack FE back in the day. It was mainly the Eastro Terrans, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. They really sort of pushed the style, and eventually, after a couple of years, it did become standard, and now a lot of Terrans do nothing but 1 rack FE, so it's kind of interesting to see that. It's going to be a 2-gate coming up for PRL. Now, this is a strong build. This could be for Power Goon, where you get the Goon range and get double Goon and just put on a lot of pressure for the Terran. The benefit for GyRo is the fact that he's actually gone for this wall. It's going to be a little bit harder to break. When you have a bunker, it is relatively easy when you're very good at the game to keep that repaired. But if you have one slip up against 2-gate Power Goon, you will lose your low ground. Just keep calling him PRA, Kicks Logic. You know what, it's probably because I've been saying some guy's name wrong, isn't it, Aggie, and you've got this wrong. But either way, it looks like the SCV is going to scout the fact there is 2 gateways, doesn't see range though, which can be a little bit of a tell that something else could be going on. We could actually see, with the lack of range, a Nexus come up behind this, depending on what this probe is seeing. The probe is going to see that there's a wall there, doesn't quite see the CC, so he's not really too sure what to do. Is he going to add the range on, or is he skipping up to a Nexus? It's kind of very strange that you wouldn't go for the range here, but looks like we will see a Nexus coming up from the probe. This is a very, very good decision. With a wall, it's very unlikely there's going to be some kind of FD. He also saw that there was only 1 Marine as well, so that's going to be a pretty big tell. Knows there's not going to be a big push coming for him, and knows there is going to be a command center behind this. But yeah, there we go. We have 2 gateways still. Obviously no tech coming up as of yet, but this is the Nexus that we were talking about before. And to go back a little bit just to what I was saying about the clan leaders, yeah, things heated up a lot with the clan leaders, and we've got a lot of like strategic thinking going on and everything, so I'm kind of excited about how it's going to evolve throughout round 2, moving into round 3. We actually have a second factory coming up for GyRo. One thing I didn't actually point out is this is going to be like a defensive FD. There's not really that many Marines, but PRL could actually break this if he chooses to go in now. I think he needs to be careful of the mines. That could be a huge mine, and it is! What a brilliant mine, but still 3 Dragoons left just against a single tank, and they are going to push the Terran back to the high ground for now, and that tank is going to go down. The SCVs cannot get there to repair in time. And GyRo is going to find his ramp broken. Of course, there's only 1 Dragoon left in the main, but that's a very, very big win for PRL there. He only trades about 5 Dragoons for a lot of time. Like, when you go for this kind of a defensive FD style, you have very few tanks early on to defend. And PRL is doing a really good job of just keeping this Dragoon alive, keeping GyRo thinking about going for that rather than pushing out onto the map. We do have this SCV. I believe the Vulture went down as well at the beginning, so we won't see any counter Vulture pressure. That could be very good at this point. But we're going to see, following this up, a proxy. Now, is this going to be a Citadel, or is it going to be a Robo? I have a feeling it's going to be for Reaver. Yeah, we have a Robo already. Okay, maybe decided against the proxy. Kind of interesting. I mean, it could be that he is going to go for a proxy Citadel and go for a proxy Templar Archives as well. But kind of dangerous. Now, we do have GyRo going for a starport himself, so this is going to be very important. The important thing for GyRo again is, once again, due to the lack of Dragoons, he didn't get that SCV in. He saw the Robo in the observatory, so he's going to be feeling pretty good about this. Now, PRL may have skipped out on going for the proxy, but this is actually going to help give him vision against any kind of dropship that comes in from there. Now, he could use the starport just to get this mineral only third, just to make sure he can ferry some SCVs up there, but looks like he is going to push for now. He's done a lot of damage to the Dragoon line, and his production's been pretty good. So he's got 3 tanks now, 4 Marines. That isn't all that much, but he's got these 2 Vultures. They do have mines to back this up. He has laid some mines in the back just to defend against any counterattacks. Now, is PRL going to be able to hold on to this? Did he skip out on any unit production to really try and force the tech through? And it looks like he may have done. This is a very strong push, but there is a shuttle, and that's going to help just a little bit. But a mine going down on top of the Dragoons. He is trying to mine drag. That could be a huge mine drag, and it is a huge mine drag going down on the tank, but another mine going down on both of the Dragoons there. Just completely decimating PRL's army, but GyRo is forced to retreat to the top of the ramp, and that is a very, very big moment in this game. GyRo could have possibly ended the game with that push, but that mine drag was enough to push him back, and that is why the shuttle is so important. But here we go, GyRo going for that patented Korean Terran style, pushing in the front to bring some units out to kill some units, and then sending that dropship around the back. But is PRL ready for this? He has 4 gateways. This is going to be when he sees the dropship for the first time. What is the reaction time like? It looks like it's a little bit slow. I think he's trying to control his observers at the moment. And with these mines at the top of the ramp, a huge mine going down again on Dragoon. So one more Dragoon is 100% going to go down. And this is just so much damage for PRL to be taking. These vultures trying to drag the mines on top of the probes if he can. But here we go. Looks like we're going to have a Wraith coming in as well. Going to help try and snipe any shuttles that it can find. Of course, there is a shuttle here. Nothing in it, though. And all of the mines have at least been cleaned up. Now, looks like we did have the shuttle going for an early third nexus here at the mineral only. There's not that many minerals. With a dropship from the Terran, or a great mine again from GyRo, just really putting the hurt on PRL. I got a little bit excited there. I thought that was another shuttle, but it was in fact just an observer. Now, PRL is going for a hidden expansion. Now, this is just going to be a mineral only. That does allow him to build a lot of gateways, a lot of zealots, but it is going to be a problem when he eventually needs to worry about everything else. Looks like all the mines have finally been cleaned up. He needs to make sure he starts mining at his natural again. Looks like these vultures have moved in. They will have seen the shuttle going up to the mineral only, so that should tip him off that there is a base here. Now let's actually have a look what's going on back at GyRo's base. So he has his 4th factory coming up. He has a command center flying to the mineral only, and he's building a 4th command center immediately on his gas base. So he's going to be feeling pretty safe. He knows the unit counts have been heavily withdrawn even. Looks like we actually had a mine going off on top of the retreating forces. Unfortunately for PRL, he doesn't quite see that. That's a bit of a mistake by him, but not doing too badly now. PRL is even in supply nearly with GyRo. Now, of course, the Protoss player at this point would really want to be ahead in supply, but he has taken a lot of damage to those mines. We have those, that hidden base in the top left really starting to come to effect. He's building probes there. He's not shuttling any more over, which I think is an understandable decision. He doesn't actually have that many probes left in his natural and main anymore. And where did the shuttle go? I feel like the shuttle flew around somewhere and maybe got taken out by the Wraith. Oh no, here we go. So this shuttle is going to move across with some zealots in it. The Wraith looking to try and kill one of these observers, just juking out the way. We have the armory on the way as well. My ear is starting to do this weird popping thing that I've had ever since I've been on a plane, so kind of strange. But GyRo doing a pretty good job walling off his 4th gas as well, just really trying to limit any form of area that PRL can do any damage. Trouble is, does GyRo know about this base? He really needs to start to look about thinking to do something with it. Looks like we have GyRo moving around with some vultures, just trying to be annoying. The reason why this is slowly going to be a problem is if oh, GyRo did actually scan the base. No, he didn't. Sorry, he was scanning the main. He was scanning for the tech. He sees the forge, he sees the citadel. He knows that will be upgrading. He doesn't see a Templar Archives yet, though, so that could be a pretty big tell for him. We could see an Arbiter Tribunal coming in soon after a Stargate. Recall definitely good on this map, but I mean, you can build turrets all the way through here, but it's quite costly. It's kind of nice to build turrets at the natural as well. But still kind of costly. GyRo isn't going to be worried about that too much, knowing that he hasn't seen a Stargate. It looks like we have a little bit of mine clearing coming in from PRL, just trying to assert a little bit of dominance on the map. Don't want to sit too far back. If the Terran's allowed to push and get on top of this high ground pod, it can be very hard to break them out. Now, GyRo has done something very nice here. He's left a vulture here to kill any probes trying to take that gas base. And it looks like PRL is going to send his entire army down here to defend this. Now, what are we going to see GyRo scanning for? GyRo didn't scan the other main. He's got a vulture at either one just to see what's going on. Doesn't see an extra nexus, but here we go. He scanned the natural, and look at the Great Wall of China here by PRL, blocking those vultures at the last second. Really great move by him. And that's going to really limit the amount of damage these vultures can do, and immediately cancelling those. Knowing that he doesn't want to get the units stuck. Now, one thing is, PRL needs to be careful. The mines are still here. They're still going to do a lot of damage. He's moving out without an observer, but apparently it doesn't matter as zealots kill the mines anyway. And GyRo finally up a +1 attack. Do we have any upgrades yet in play? We still have a little bit off of +1 +1 attack from the Protoss player. And finally, it looks like PRL is looking to be a little bit aggressive himself. There's only one tank defending this area. It's on the low ground as well, so these Dragoons are going to do a pretty good job. Now, what exactly is GyRo's response for this going to be? He's got a really nicely placed tank at the back, but there is a shot with 3 Zealots moving in. It looks like GyRo may possibly lose position on his 4th base, but no, Vultures and tanks streaming up from the bottom of the map, and that wall doing an incredible job to stop the Protoss units there. He does of course have Zealots in his main now, but he is certainly going to be able to hold on to this, and PRL is going to be forced to retreat. Now, one thing I want to keep an eye out for is just how much damage these Zealots are going to do. PRL did that without losing that many units, so that's very, very nice for him. Does delay GyRo's push just a little bit. GyRo, of course, could be waiting for 2-1. He is on 4 base, so he's going to be feeling pretty good about that. And it looks like the Zealots not doing too much, but at least getting a couple of SCVs for their troubles. Did get that tank, made the push a little bit better than it otherwise could have been. And PRL just looking to build up more and more units. Do we have any additional tech coming in for him? We do have the Templar Archives finally. Is there a Stargate? Doesn't look like it just yet. No additional bases for him either. He does have this 7 o'clock base now, which is his natural 3rd. So he's going to be feeling pretty good about that. Getting a decent amount of gas himself. This is certainly when he's going to be looking to move into those higher tech units. GyRo still has units in his base. Looks like the shuttle will go down. This Dragoon is going to be kind of annoying. He did manage to drop two Vultures up there himself, so they are going to be able to clean up these Dragoons, but very barely. And that was a bit of a Hail Mary drop from that shuttle, unfortunately. Didn't really do too much. Did force GyRo's attention back to his main though, which is exactly where PRL wants it to be. Now, GyRo hasn't taken position on this high ground yet, and it looks like PRL is going to try and bust in here while he has the unit advantage. Is it really going to be enough? +1 attack only for the Terran player. 2-1 is on the way, and this is where PRL really has to start being careful. He can't afford to be throwing big armies away. The second 2-1 finishes, he's not going to be able to hit a timing on the Terran army, and it's going to take a good couple at least of armies to really bust through that, especially on this map. And it's certainly been an interesting game so far. So what are we going to see from here? PRL going for the Kingdom style here. No Stargate, going straight into Templar. And Storm could be a very, very strong option on this map. He has a lot of gas. Looks like 2-1 will have just finished, or is about to finish. GyRo is certainly about to hit his timing here. He's got all of his army together. And this is where GyRo is going to look to want to push up to this high ground and try and make his way across the map. But this is going to be very, very dangerous. The Protoss army very well spread at the moment. This is going to be a very small choke for him to try and push up to. And the Vultures have been spotted. Now, is PRL going to overreact to this? It looks like he's sending the vast majority of his army here. And if he gives up position on this high ground, the tables could completely turn. But GyRo looks like in response he's going to move his units over and try and push towards the 12 o'clock and around the top as well. Now, is that going to work out for him? No, here we go. He is jumping into the middle of the map. He's scanned. He knows where the Protoss army is. 2-1 has finished. Just +1-1 for PRL. Now, PRL's army is slowly filtering in. The Zealots really bunched up. But could there be a huge mine drag? A nice Storm on those back tanks doing a lot of damage, but the Zealots have gone down. There's still a few at the front to soak a little bit of damage, but that is so much blue goo. PRL is going to have to fall back, and that is the strength of a 2-1 Terran army against an unprepared Protoss. He was only coming in from one angle. He wasn't able to flank. And it looks like we actually have... we had a drop here. I don't know exactly what that was, but that was very, very nice foresight by GyRo. Sorry for missing that. I was too busy focusing on the main engagement. But really, really nicely done. While the while the attention of the Protoss player was elsewhere, it looks like he managed to get away. He does capture some of the probes that are transferring, so that's going to be very, very good for him. And I certainly need to just refresh my page. Everything's stuck at 35 and the chat's broken as well. Oh, GyRo. GyRo. Okay, so it's not GyRo. Sorry, last. It's just the way I would say that word in English, so... But yeah, here we go. Looks like we have round 2 of the main engagement here. No drops going towards the Protoss base this time. But GyRo has a really great position on the middle of the map. It's going to be very hard for PRL to oust him from this. He's going to have to come in from multiple angles. He, of course, does have his storms, but he does not have the position. Probes being pulled up here as well for some reason. And PRL is going to have a little bit of trouble as he does move into this. Now, it looks like my chat was actually bugged, so I fixed that now. But GyRo isn't sieged. Could this be the moment that PRL needs to move up? And no, he doesn't quite manage to get it. But PRL is taking the 5 o'clock main. Looks like he's adding on some units. Now, PRL doesn't quite know where to send his army. He's having a few problems with that. We do have a double Stargate as he does move in to that Arbiter tech. Is he going to go... where? Wait, where is the Arbiter Tribune? Here it is. It looks like he's going for Stasis first. Very clever decision. He needs to be careful. We do have EMP on these science vessels already. But it looks like PRL is finally looking to go for that flank onto GyRo's army. Or GyRo's army, I guess. I need to fix my English. But here we go. Looks like this could be the big moment that GyRo, for PRL, is waiting for. The army is pretty well spread, though, by GyRo. By GyRo even, and PRL is pushing in from both angles at once. A nice D-Matrix on that front tank. PRL not controlling his army well enough, but it looks like he's focusing a lot on the control from behind. There's no storm on that High Templar, and it looks like PRL's army has been absolutely decimated. 4 observers on top of this army, all 4 of them going to go down. Not waiting for Stasis to finish. Kind of a big problem here. Looks like a couple of Zealots going to move around. Both of their macro starting to slip a lot. There is a lot going on here. Now I can hear a Vulture. A Vulture actually taking out this gateway. DTs being added in response to this to try and hold on. But GyRo has the perfect location above at the top of PRL's main, or his natural and his main ramp, and this is going to be the nail in the coffin, I believe. PRL is trying to hold on. That DT is certainly going to be enough to hold on down here, but what is he going to do against this amazing army outside the front? Unfortunately for PRL, taking that hidden base, not really paying off as much as it could do. He just got a little bit out-positioned by GyRo in this game, and it's certainly paying off for GyRo. What a great push by him. And PRL is going to lose his natural. There's not really too much GyRo can do. PRL can do. I keep getting the names mixed up now. I'm overthinking it. Looks like we will have an Arbiter going around. Is he going to go for a recall? I'm not sure I agree with that decision. I mean, it is the one thing he can do to try and oust this army away. But this Arbiter needs to be careful. 2 Marines going to take it. A little bit of health off of it, and GyRo is sending his army back to his main now. He knows that a recall is a possibility, and he is going to try and defend against this with all his might, but it could have been a fake, and it looks like it is. PRL pushes down his ramp with Stasis, and all of the tanks get cleaned up. The probes that were transferred before come back. The Arbiter did go down in the main, so it won't be able to recall, but that was in fact a fake. Recall was not finished. And what a great fake that was. That may have just saved PRL in this game. Now that dropship's still actually alive somehow. But PRL certainly needs to be careful. The base down here was taken out in all of this. I completely missed that happening. But there we go. We have the final tanks being taken up. GyRo, with a great use of his attention, actually sniped as many probes as he could there. PRL is holding on by the skin of his teeth. He's +3 attack right now, but he does have to be careful. GyRo is going for the position above his natural again. And I fear this could just be way too much. An EMP goes down on top of the Arbiters, and that could very well be what causes the end for PRL, as units are blocking units from the gateways from this other main. He actually has 2 Nexuses here to build probes. I'm not really sure I agree with this, but I mean, it is going to allow him to saturate that base a little bit quicker. He did have an excess of minerals, but he's got a lot of probes that are stuck up here. He's even building wow, he's actually playing the ultimate refugee toss style here. He's adding gateways down in the top left. And that's going to allow him to send some units up here, clear out this 5th base of GyRo. And just to point out, GyRo is running out of money at his bases. His natural is empty. His main is empty. His mineral-only 3rd is going to be empty as well. And that's just a lot of damage for GyRo to be taking. He has a big bank though. But is that going to be enough to bring him back in the game? It looks like we had another bunch of probes actually going down. I don't know if they tried to transfer or something, but they did go down there. No extra Nexus being added, so PRL is actually only mining off of 1 base. The Storm does go down on top of the Vultures and not the tanks. Unsure on that decision, but PRL is doing his absolute best. Looks like a lot of the army from PRL did get taken down again though. And that's going to be where the major issues come in. He doesn't have a standing army to even try and defend anything. And his final bases in the bottom left could very well be going down. He has some... he has a High Templar out in the middle of the map. Is he going to even be able to storm in time? No, he isn't. And I think this is finally going to be the death push by GyRo. He's on 3-2. Very strong upgrades for a Terran player to have. Some great storms on top of the tanks though. And that's so much damage. But is it going to be enough? I'm not so sure. There's no units left here whatsoever. And PRL is trying to do his best to add on more and more units here. It looks like the Arbiter is going to kill the dropship, which is something you don't often see. But he needs to really do something. He's not going to be able to get a pylon here to even finish these Vultures, these Zealots, I don't think. And this standing army that's moving into the main is going to cause him a lot of issues. We do have DTs. Probes have been transferred to the top left. He's trying to play the ultimate refugee style toss. He is South American. This is how they play, guys. And we are certainly seeing that here. He's doing his best to just stay in the game as long as humanly possible. You have DTs blocking the ramp even. But he's losing his bottom right base. He's got no gateways there. He cannot reinforce. His units in his natural have been taken down now. His main is under siege. And PRL, despite everything, is still trying to hold on. We actually have units going to be able to clean up these units outside his base. But as soon as the scan goes down, these are going to be cleaned up. And this is surely going to be, as Rapid would say, where we learn her alphabets. The A, B, C, D, E, F, G, 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 G. Because there is absolutely nothing that PRL can do here. He's losing his final 2 bases. A stasis does appear to try and save this base for the time being, but his probes in the top left are going to go down. His main is completely in tatters. He's got no way of holding on. And PRL is going to have to be forced to say goodbye to the first game in the series. He's doing what he can to hold on. He's actually pulled a kingdom even and blocked in some of his gateways, so he's playing the kingdom style. And man, are these going to finish in time? Because that is some next level. That is some next level hold on forever. This is where we go even further beyond. The Fantasy and Kicks... Okay, so the Fantasy GG timing was long ago. The Kicks GG timing was a little bit ago, and this is the PRL GG timing. He's doing his best. He's adding on 3 cannons. They're gonna finish, it looks like, but it's not gonna be enough. GG! And PRL